Hey traders, Gavin McMaster here from Options Trading IQ, and today I'm going to show you my free wheel options tracker, which will hopefully help you in tracking your wheel trades. Just before we start, a quick reminder that everything discussed is for educational purposes only, is general in nature, and does not take into account your financial circumstances. If you want to go ahead and grab a copy of this spreadsheet, just go to this link here, optionstradingiq.com/wheel-tracker. Click the button here, pop in your name in an email, and that will come through automatically to you. So grab yourself a copy of that. Okay, so I'm going to walk through how to set up the spreadsheet for a brand new trade. So we've got a blank tab here. We can just make a copy of this. And we can say whatever stock or underlying you're trading. Let's say it's Apple. And what first thing we want to do is come in here and get the current price of Apple. You can do that. Some people have trouble bringing this in, but this button here will help. And you can just type in the ticker, go back onto the cell, and then within the data selector, choose Apple. And then we're just going to copy over this formula here as well. And that will bring in the current price of Apple. Now, let's say we started the trade today. We're going to basically put our starting price as that. Basically, the stock hasn't moved, and we'll put in our starting date as well. And then each day, as the Apple price moves, this will automatically update. This will always stay the same because we want to track what the price was of Apple when we started the trade. Then we want to put in our actual put sale trade. And here we've got a couple of options to choose from. So sell to open, cash secured put would be our starting trade. In this case, we've got Apple expiration date, whichever one you traded. Let's say the strike price was 220. Let's just change that to that so we can center it. So we sold one contract, maybe sold it for 215, and our commission was $1. Then it was a credit. And the cash impact is going to be our premium received, that times 100 times the price plus the commission. So we received that, and then we're going to say it's open. And this last column is if we were to close the trade today, how much would we have to pay to buy back that option? Basically about the same as what we bought it for. And that's how we would set up our first part of the trade. Don't worry about this for now. I'll go and show you another example. This is one started a couple of days ago. EWW, strike price at 52, two contracts, price of 250, actually received a credit for the commission. So there's our cash impact, there's our value to close. Pretty simple example. Another example, this one actually started as a covered call trade, so I'll just remove that second one. But in this example, actually just started with a covered call. So in this case, we're buying 200 shares of the underlying, that was our price. Sold the covered call August next year, strike price of 100, two contracts. That was the price, and then that's our premium. Quantity times 100 times that plus minus the commission. And then again, here we've got the value to close. So if we were going to sell the underlying stock, we would receive that much. If we were going to buy back the sold puts, it would cost us that much. I notice I just need to, I'm going to hide some of these rows. And I need to update the capital required. Basically, in this case, the capital required is going to be that and that. So actually that should be minus. So we needed that much to buy the stock, but we received that much in a credit. So that's the capital required. And then basically, what was the cash impact of each trade? What would be the value to close the position? Difference between the two is the open P&L. Option premium and dividends, that's just that piece. And you can see the stock's up 0.44%. We've got a very similar return. Trade's only a couple of days old. And then as of yesterday, I'm going to have to rehide these. That's annoying. You know what? Because it's a fairly new trade with not many rows, I'm actually just going to delete these. And then I end up selling some puts as well. So happy to take ownership of another 200 shares down at 92. So some more credit received there. So that's our option premium. And wouldn't worry about this yet. That becomes more important as we go along. But our cost basis is effectively that minus that minus that. And we've got 200 shares. So that's our rough cost basis. But again, wouldn't worry too much about that just yet. This is kind of the important bit, and this bit here. And then as the trade starts to progress, you want to look at this a little bit more. But these are just sort of rough calculations I do on the side. All right, let's look at a bit more of a longer term example, and I'll just kind of walk you through step by step. So this was our initial trade back in December 23. So this is the price of the underlying on that date when we started. You can see the stock is down about 15% since I started this trade. It just looks a bit better if we keep the blanks on as well. Then if we move forward, the next one was in January. So basically sold the initial puts at 35 for a January expiration. As we got close to January expiration, I think it was slightly in the money. So rather than taking assignment, I actually bought them back. So that's that piece there. So buying to close. And then I sold to open a new strike, rolled out to June, dropped the strike price to 32, and then received $508 for that. So that was the net proceeds for making that adjustment. Those ones eventually got assigned, as you'll see shortly. April sold some more puts down at 32. So I actually sold 3 initially, then another 2 a couple of months later. So a total of 5 open puts. Then in June, we got assigned. So there's the buy of the 500 shares. So this line just gets zeroed out because there's no value to close anymore. It got assigned. We bought the 500 shares at 32, which is going to cost that much. And that's what the stock or the value is to close at the moment. So you can see the value just on the stock purchase is actually down because the stock is down as well. But because of all the option premium we've received, we're actually just slightly negative on the trade. I'll just add the next one as well. So a couple of days after we got assignment, I sold 3 covered calls. So not a fully covered, only a couple, so allowing some upside potential. That one expired worthless. Sold another put for September down at 26, closed that out for a small amount. Sometimes I'll do a new row for the closing transaction like this one. Other times I'll just put closed here and put the value, whatever it cost me to close it out. A little bit lazy. It would probably be better to do a new row if you really want to track it properly. But I kind of know that that's closed, and that's what I closed it out for. All right, next one was in August. Sold the remaining 2 covered calls. So we've got the 3 here, 2 here, different expirations. That September one actually expired anyway. And then the last one, I think, was the next bit of covered calls. Yeah, so there's my 5 covered calls against the 500 stock. Gets a little bit messy once you start getting more trades. So again, you can just come in here on filter under status, and you can remove any that have been closed. Could even potentially remove the one that's been assigned. And then that's just going to leave me with the open positions, which is the 500 shares. That one is actually closed. There we go. So I've got the 500 stock that I was assigned, and I've got the total of 5 covered calls, 1 for December expiration at 32 and 3 for March expiration at 32. Sorry, December was 33, March is 32. So fully covered. If I was to sell the stock now, because I bought it at 32, it's trading at 29.51, I've made a loss on the stock. If I was to buy back these covered calls, this is what it would cost me. So there's the total cash flow across all the positions. That's what it's going to cost me to close anything that's open. Total P&L slightly negative. So you can see the stock's down 15.5%. This trade's only down 64 bips. Now, capital required, I always take how much it would cost to if I did get assigned on any puts. At the moment, I don't actually have any puts open, so the only cash requirement is how much it cost us to buy the shares. So this could probably actually now, you can see I did sell some extra puts, but that they didn't get assigned, so that can actually just come out now because they're not required anymore. Technically, I guess you could probably keep them in because at some point that capital was required. And I may sell some more puts again at 28 or 26. So maybe I'll just leave it like that. All right, now this calculation here is just showing how much it would cost if I did get assigned on another 300 shares at 28. It's just a little calc I do. Honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about this here. That's just a little sort of what if scenario that I'm sort of calculating. So hopefully that helps you. Hopefully it's pretty straightforward. Just remember, this is the current stock price that should come in automatically due to this. I think it's linked with Google Finance. Maybe I'm not an expert, but sometimes some people have problems with it. But this is the current stock price, should populate automatically. If it's not, let me know. I might be able to help. This is the price that the stock was at when you started trading. This is the performance of the stock over the life of the trade. And this is our performance on our wheel trade here. So I hope that helps you. If you've got any questions, let me know. Also, if you've got any suggestions for improving the spreadsheet, I'm also happy to hear those. So just let me know in the comments. But otherwise, have a great day and I'll talk to you soon.